Welcome back everybody, my name is Tucker, this is Sporting Logically, and today I wanted to take a look at what a team made up of entirely current NBA head coaches would look like. Just for fun, I decided to take a look at the player careers of every head coach from the 2017 to 18 NBA season and see if I could even put together a competitive team of them from back in their playing days. One side note is that I am including former Knicks head coach Jeff Hornacek in this, even though he recently got fired. Let's get started. Our first starter is the guy that I just talked about, now former Knicks head coach Jeff Hornacek. One of only 2 players on this list with an all-star selection to his name, the former member of the Jazz and Suns provides the team with a nice ball handling, scoring, and playmaking presence at the guard spot. You're going to see pretty quickly that this is a very small team made up almost entirely of guards, so Hornacek's ability to make plays on the ball as well as spot up and knock down threes off of it as a former 2-time three-point contest champion makes him a no-brainer starter with this group. Next up in the starting lineup, we have the only other player in this group with an all-star selection to their name, Doc Rivers. Though not a reliable three-point shooter, he provides much more on the defensive end than his backcourt partner, while still maintaining solid scoring ability and great vision as a passer. Though that lack of a three-point shot could become an issue in the modern NBA, there are plenty of other guys on the roster that can provide that skill when Rivers' shot isn't falling. Moving on, we have another strong defensive player, but also a player that can provide reliable shot making from the three-point line, current Cavs coach Ty Lue. Nearly a 40% career three-point shooter and a 3-time NBA champion, 2 as a player and 1 as a coach, Lue fits nicely into a 3-and-D role playing off of more talented on-ball players in the backcourt. Though he lacks the size of an ideal player in that role, Lue can still provide plenty of value with his tenacious defensive effort and shooting ability. Next up is another defensive ace, the steals leader for the 1994 NBA season and a 2-time all-defensive second-team selection, Pacers head coach Nate McMillan. Similar to Rivers, he wouldn't be a perfect fit in today's game with his struggles from beyond the arc, but his defensive and passing ability, along with some good size for a guard, make him a valuable piece of the puzzle. We have already seen how his defensive principles have helped elevate a Pacers team with low expectations prior to this season to new heights in this year's playoffs, and that expertise will certainly help a team with so many talented defenders in the starting group. Rounding out the starting lineup, we have the only guy on the roster with any kind of real size, Lakers head coach Luke Walton. Though certainly not considered a big man by any means, Walton is forced to play the de facto 5 spot on a team filled almost entirely with guards. However, an optimist would say that today's NBA puts less and less focus on inside and big man play, and that Walton could likely hold his own against many of the smaller lineups now employed in the league. He certainly isn't an ideal candidate for this team, but the list of NBA head coaches with NBA playing experience is completely devoid of any other options with size outside of Walton, so he gets this spot more out of necessity than anything else. Moving on to the bench, I chose 4 other players to round out the 9-man rotation, and they all pretty much fill the same role: knockdown shooters. Steve Kerr, Fred Hoiberg, Scott Brooks, and Rick Carlisle are all good shooters with varying degrees of efficiency, a skill that holds much more value now than it did back when they played. None of these guys have a career 3-point attempts per game average higher than 2, but you better believe that if they're on the floor, they're going to be letting it fly to space the floor for more talented guards in the starting group. When looking at the rotation as a whole, you can see that size and second unit defense are pretty big issues, but I bet these guys could get pretty creative in how to mask their own individual shortcomings. Rick Carlisle could install his well-known zone defense to break out for the times in which Walton has to come off the floor, leaving them with a unit entirely filled with guards on the floor. You could also replace one of the starting guards that struggle to shoot, i.e. McMillan or Rivers, with a player like Kerr to provide the first unit with more spacing, and to give the second unit more playmaking ability. But on the bright side, there wouldn't ever really be a lack of playmakers on the floor with such a small lineup, and they would likely run some of the best offense in the league, at least in terms of X's and O's, combining their knowledge of the game with their spacing and 3-point shooting ability to create a system with great man and ball movement. This group obviously has plenty of flaws, but with double-digit combined NBA championships across the entire roster, I wouldn't be so quick to count them out of any game myself. And that is the end of the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then leaving a like rating is a great way to let me know, and if you'd like to see more videos just like this, then be sure to subscribe to Sporting Logically for more videos every single week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.